Now, I wasn't really sure which channel I was going to put this on. I was doing this as a news story on thejbgunner TV, and then it hit me. Now I'm thinking I'm going to put this on the True Crime channel because this story makes me realize and understand a little bit how women can desire or want to be with a killer or a bad guy or an inmate, because I ain't going to lie. Me and this woman share a lot of same interest. This is a woman that's into BDSM, much like myself. Very much into true crime, much like myself. And, well, things got a little, violent in her sexual life, much like in my life it has as well. I'm thejbgunner. This is Crime Time with thejbgunner. Let's go ahead and jump right in here. This is going to be a good one. This is going to be an offshoot, just a one-off, because there's no more story after this one. But let's do it.
Bring it back.
What's going on, everybody? As you guys know, I'm thejbgunner, and this is Crime Time. Now, before we get started, let me say this first and foremost. Thank you to everybody that supports the channel, regardless of the method you choose, whether it's Cash App, Patreon, Venmo, PayPal. Truth is, guys, I couldn't do this each and every day as often as I do without you, the Gun Squad. So I want to say thank you very much to each and every one of you. You guys are what makes this thing work. And if you too find value in my content, feel free to hit the links down below. Support the channel, and also while you're down there, look for my other channels, whether it be my politics channel, my other live stream channel, my gaming channel, wrestling channel. As long as you're not a snowflake or, leftist or something like that, you could probably enjoy those other channels as well. Guys, I don't know if you know this about me, but I've been into BDSM for a good 10 years. For you guys that do not understand what BDSM is, all I will tell you is it's a lifestyle. I can go through every aspect of the lifestyle, but I won't. I'll just say dominance, submission. Dominant, submissive. It's pretty much what it is. Now, a lot of the sexual parts of this you'll find in different elements of kink, whether it's bondage, blood play, water sports, a lot of things of this nature. Now, if you know me, which a lot of you don't, I'm on a very advanced level of this shit. As in, there's a room in my entire house dedicated to it. We call it a playroom. If you've ever seen 50 Shades of Grey, you know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about. All right, with all that being said, I'm also real big into horror movies, serial killers. In my bloodline is John Wayne Gacy. I had to have the homo blood. Yeah, it is what it is. You don't get to pick them, right? But I'm infatuated with horror movies. I collect a lot of horror movie memorabilia. Many of you guys know I got a real Freddy Krueger glove and mask and all of this. I get into this type of thing. Well, it seems to me that this woman we're about to talk about right now, she did as well. Her and her boyfriend got into this. Now, there was a problem, though. There was a very big problem. She stabbed him 22 times in his sleep. And I couldn't help but when I was reading this story to think to myself, man, this sounds like a fun fucking relationship. And yes, I admit I'm a little deranged. There's something wrong with me. But let's go ahead and get into the story because it's still an interesting story. And I'm going to be honest with you. Listen, I talk to a lot of you true crime women. Y'all are just the same way. For you guys that don't get me wrong. There's always the soccer moms and the Karens that's not like that. But you'd be surprised how many of the women watching this video right now, they're like, yes, hell yeah, I'll get tied up. Hell yes, we can use the damn magic wand and shit like that, do some electrical shock. You'd be surprised how many women watching this feel that way. I didn't know that about the true crime community until I got into it and started talking to some of y'all. My ribs are hurting right now, so bear with me. True crime obsessed mother who had framed pictures of serial killers Ted Bundy, Jeffrey Dahmer on her walls, smiles as she's convicted of murdering her boyfriend in a crazed knife attack as he slept. Now, I have to admit, part of this is very, very worrisome. Like, I am not going to lie to you. I've worried about it throughout my lifetime. Hey, will this chick stab me to death in my sleep? Because when you engage in this type of activity, a certain acceptance for violence exists. Like if you ever engage in what's called blood play, which blood play is exactly what it sounds like. A lot of times knives are involved, small incisions, cuts, blood everywhere. It's a very primal thing. You're basically fucking with it on your face, it's on her face. It's a very, very primal feeling and a very primal experience, okay? But anyway, so when you're dealing with that, usually you keep special knives for this exact type of scenario. Many people that's been watching me for years, I've showed them all the knives. Hell, they've even seen videos of me cutting a chick on on Friday the 13th. A lot of things, right? And it's all consensual. There's nothing wrong with it. Whatever gets you off, whatever does me, does me. It's a very consensual thing. If I'm with a vanilla woman, I'm boring and vanilla. But every now and then, you want a woman kind of like this. Now, don't get me wrong, she got all these tattoos on her face in jail. But this is what she looked like previous to this. And gotta admit, ain't nothing hotter to me than a bitch with a collar. Ain't nothing hotter than a bitch with a collar. But that's just me, okay? Shane Groves, age 27. Previously claimed she killed her partner in self-defense. She also said she grabbed the dagger by mistake during a heated row. A true crime-obsessed mother who had framed pictures of serial killers, including Ted Bundy, Jeffrey Dahmer on her walls, smiled as she was convicted of murdering her boyfriend in a crazed knife attack. Manipulative and jealous, Shaye Groves. Which woman isn't manipulative and jealous? Every woman watching this, is manipulative and jealous. Women are taught to manipulate men from a very early age, and they do it well. Not me necessarily, but they do it really well when you got some of the simps and some of them characters out there. So the idea of being manipulative, controlling, jealous, I think it's a trait that exists with both sexes, male and female. Because I use the Jedi mind trick on women all the time. I will manipulate you to do whatever the fuck I want you to do, including in the bedroom. It's just the way it works. So the manipulative part, I think, kind of exists on both sides. And jealousy, I think, will always exist on both sides. She faces life in jail. She's 27 years old for stabbing father of two Frankie Fitzgerald 22 times while he slept after seeing he had messaged a teenager. And this is why I have no problem with this. The dude was messaging a teenage girl. He was a chomo, a child molester. Maybe he wasn't. But I'm not upset. Like, this woman, to me, even though she had a dark side, she caught her boyfriend texting a kid. He deserved what he got, if you ask me. Which makes it a little bit easier for me to stomach this and find her hot, just to be honest with you. And I know I'm not excited right now. I'm just kind of talking to you guys, giving you the story. Once again, ribs are a little damaged right now. The 5-week trial heard that the pair shared a mutual interest in BDSM, and a camera was set up in the killer's bedroom at her home in Havant, Hampshire, to record the couple having sex. Once again, if you've ever been in my house, you know there's cameras everywhere, including in there. Do you understand what I'm saying? Cameras everywhere, including in there. We make movies around here. Just saying. It's the way it works. On her walls, Groves has framed pictures of serial killers crying blood, including the Yorkshire. Well, I ain't going to name all of them, but I just named them to you. Hold on just a second. She also collected books about gangsters, including the notorious prisoner Charles Bronson. Jurors were told that the 27-year-old who rang a friend, giggling after killing Mr. Fitzgerald, showing his body and saying, "I've done him." She called her friend, was giggling, "I did him in." That's kind of hot. I'm a sicko. It is what it is. Had previously threatened to make his life a misery by leaking videos of alleged sexual abuse, which were later proven to be bogus. Now, this This is the part that would make me not want to be with her. Because that's the way all you chicks are, though. It's, yeah, I like 50 Shades of Grey. You say that till you get a thumb in your butt. And then what happens is especially if we're recording shit, it's funny how you can turn an actual sexual night into quickly a night of abuse. Or you can, because everybody knows you can fool the normies. You can fool the vanillas. Everybody knows that because most people don't know that this lifestyle exists. So it's easy for you as the female to go. It's the same way as how easy it's easy right now for you to get drunk and have sex with me and then claim the next day that I raped you. Let's call it what it is. It's an easy thing. Oh, I'm sorry. I should say what the other YouTubers say. SA'd you. Fuck that. Raped. But this is why it's dangerous to engage. And I think that's probably the thing that's the most exciting about it because there is danger to it. I know that every single time I engage with a woman like this, I know it's a danger because you don't know what the fuck they're going to do. Because a lot of the women that engage in this have daddy issues. A lot of them are psycho. A lot of them are crazy. So you don't know what they're going to do. A lot of times if a woman's willing to either cut on you or let you cut on her or let you piss in her mouth, that's not a normal bitch. That's what makes her different than the others. That's what makes her hot. It's what makes it an adventure. That's what makes it the forbidden fruit. That's what BDSM and most kinks are. As you know it's the forbidden fruit that no one else does. Let's get back to the story. So she was gonna lie and say that it was sexual abuse when clearly it wasn't. Groves then tried to cover her tracks with a false alibi by calling her friend. A jury found Groves guilty of the murder after deliberating for 18 hours. Wearing a denim jacket with a large pentagram emblazoned on the back, and with tattoos now visible on her face, Groves smiled as she was taken down to the cells after the unanimous verdict. That's her right there. I ain't gonna lie to you guys. She looks like a good fucking time. She looks like a fucking great time. And y'all guys, y'all know I'm not lying. Well, you know I'm not lying. Crazy bitches have the absolute best pussy. A woman that's willing to put tattoos on her face, she's got some bomb pussy. Guarantee you. Guarantee you. You can tell by looking at her. That's her wall at home. I can respect that. There's the young man she took out. Addressing the jury, the judge said, "It just remains for me to thank you for the dedication and work you've done on the case." He talks to the jury for a little while. During the trial, jurors heard Pagan Groves bought a Celtic dagger, later used to stab Mr. Fitzgerald for rituals, and that it strengthened her spiritual connections. That's when they start getting crazy, when they talk about their spiritual connections. Groves also had a coffin-shaped bookcase and 4 decorative knives with depictions of film villains, Chucky, Jigsaw, Pennywise, and which they would use for knife play. Now, that's because they don't know what knife play means. Knife play means blood play. Knife play means blood play. If you look at me, you'll actually see cuts on my arm, if you've ever seen me without sleeves. Because usually I don't believe in necessarily hurting the woman. So if we're going to engage in blood play, I'll be the guy to bleed, right? Just kind of the way it is. It's kind of a protector thing. She was such a horror movie fan that she gave housemate Lauren White the nickname Chucky, a vicious serial killer doll from the Child's Play slasher film series. A friend of Groves said the two had joked about Mr. Fitzgerald ended up on the wall and that there was space for him. Opening the case, Steve Perry of the Groves said that Groves and her lover, their sex life involved bondage, dominance, submission, masochism, BDSM. Sometimes shit goes wrong, but it's exciting. I'm rock hard right now thinking about this broad. Like, to me, this is as exciting as it gets. Don't worry, ladies. If you're talking to me or anything like that, I get it. I can be vanilla and boring for you boring motherfuckers. Hello, baby, let's make love. Whatever, bitch. Whatever. Hilarious shit. And what's crazy is normal women, they always think they're freaky. Oh, yeah? What kind of freaky shit you do, baby? I swallow. Bitch, it's 2023. The fuck you mean you swallow? First of all, if you spit my shit out, that's some disrespectful shit and you gotta get out my house. But no, they really genuinely think that. If they take anal or swallow, then they're freaks. They're kinky. Yeah. They genuinely believe that. Anyway, let's continue on. Let's continue on. Opening the case, oh no, they were talking about the BDSM thing. It is likely she was obsessed with Frankie Fitzgerald because of his performance in the bedroom. That's what they all are. Because us that engage in high-level kink, we're on a different level. We're talking about hours of just foreplay before we even get into the sex. Of course they're going to be impressed with somebody that's into BDSM's performance in the bedroom because they're used to all these missionary homos. Well, not necessarily homo. They're used to the vanillas. Same position every night. Same thing. You know what I'm saying. The prosecution case is the defendant is a manipulative, possessive, and jealous woman, which I would imagine. The killing is very likely to have been a crime of passion driven by jealousy. Afterwards, Grove video vlogged her friend Vicky Badeup giggling and admitted the killing. Telling jurors about the call, the defendant went to the bedroom 3 times and showed the body of Frankie Fitzgerald covered in a duvet. I don't know what that is. She said they were lying in bed together and Frankie Fitzgerald was asleep. The defendant was going through his messages and saw he had been talking to a 13-year-old girl. And while Mr. Fitzgerald was asleep, she put a dagger in his throat, waking him up. Chomo's gone. Chomo is gone. He moved and they started fighting. He continued, while the defendant was on the video chat, she could be seen cleaning the bookcase with blood on it. She showed a book and showed blood spots. Mr. Badeup recalls at some point during the video hearing Miss White say, "I'm going to crack." The defendant told Miss White, "You can't crack, you're an accomplice. You put the bin bags under his body." The court heard Groves had sent a message to Miss Badeup to create a false alibi and an order to cover her ass, where she claimed Mr. Fitzgerald had walked out on her and that it was over between the two of them. On the phone call with Miss Badeup, Groves explained her logic, saying Mr. Fitzgerald had been suicidal anyway and that it was all right, and they'll just assume he had gone off and committed suicide. This is a hell of a plan, right? When asked what she was going to do with the body, the defendant replied, "It's all right, we're going to bury it in the back garden." That's dumb. A pathologist report revealed Mr. Fitzgerald was stabbed 17 times to the front of his chest, twice to the other chest areas, and three times to the neck, resulting in death after multiple perforations of heart and lungs and catastrophic blood loss. Footage from officers at the scene was played to the court. They reported an incredibly strong smell of bleach in the bedroom. Groves could be heard saying, "He tried to attack me. It's not the first time. I've got video footage of him raping me and beating me." And guys, this is why you have to be careful. When a woman has a rape fantasy, it's called consensual non-consensual. It's where they agree to the rape fantasy. It's a role play. It's called consensual non-consensual. You got to be careful with that. Because here's the truth. Especially if you engage in any kind of, here's the thing, to do it properly, you have to physically be aggressive. And that sets you up, gentlemen, for a major downfall. If she ever decides she wants to, especially if it's on tape. You have to understand that legally, Even though if you can prove it's consensual, you'll get away with it. In general, most people don't think so. You ask most of these lames that's watching this that are vanilla as shit, what do you think about consensual, non-consensual? They would say that sounds like rape, because it does. It's an agreement, it's consenting to a rape scene, to a rape role play. And to the average mind that isn't kinky, to the average fucking vanilla motherfucker, that sounds violent because it is. And to them, that sounds criminal because they think that the way people should fuck or the way their boring asses fuck. The couple had a camera set up in the bedroom which captured them having sex and the recordings of which Groves was said to have used to blackmail lovers and claimed Mr. Fitzgerald had been abusing her. However, Mr. Perparian highlighted a recording that showed the activity was consensual because they had spoken about their safe word, which was red light. Exactly. Exactly. The court heard cunning and astute Groves had spoken with friends about getting Mr. Fitzgerald down a dark alley and how she would get away with murder. Groves had also been violent towards Miss White, only calming down when she saw a bit of blood. So well, I guess she did have the tats on her face then. I don't know why. I don't know why she turns me on so fucking much, but she does. Mr. Perrion said the defendant had many gangster books, like whatever. Addressing Groves' claims of self-defense, said if the killing was in self-defense, why go about getting such an elaborate false alibi for yourself? Why didn't she call the police immediately? Why did she clean up the crime scene? Why did she move the body? It was a cunning ploy. Nothing was affecting her mind at the time. Giving evidence, Groves said she had the serial killer posters because she thought they looked pretty cool, and had attacked Mr. Fitzgerald because she thought he was going to strangle me to death. And she saw he had been messaging a teenager, and he attacked her. So she even made up her little story. She said, I couldn't breathe. I couldn't even scream. I realized he wasn't going to let go, and I feared for my life. I reached out to grab an object on the bookcase, and I hit him in the throat. I have a money box there, and I thought that if I hit him with it, it would get him off. He rolled off. He stood up and slid down the wall really slowly. There was bubbling coming out of his neck when he stopped moving. His chest wasn't moving. It was just the noise. Damn. Damn. When that happened, I realized that I'd killed him. I tried to stop the bubbling. I put my hand there, but it didn't do anything, so I stabbed him in the heart. God! She'll be sentenced next week. She'll be sentenced in Winchester. I don't know. I think this is in the UK. But when I read this story earlier and when I looked at it, I kind of felt bad. Because my darkest sexuality came out in this case. It came out in this. And I hope I never have to do a case like this again, because you realize how dark your own sexuality is, right? Does that make sense? You realize that things like this turn you on, and so it kind of makes me understand why like women are writing Brian Kohlberger and things like that. Because if I thought she was going to get out, I ain't going to lie to you. I'd fly her to America. I'd make her an American citizen. I ain't going to lie to you. She'd be my co-host on the damn Coffee and Crime live stream. I like this one. And once again, that shows how sometimes some of us that are in this, and I told you guys a million times, I'm not in the true crime community to solve the case. It's like playing a game of Clue. I get into this shit. And as you can clearly see by this one, who was a true crime fan, and many of you that are watching right now as true crime fans, it's not for the same reasons as everybody else. Some of us are darker. Does that make sense? Some of us were genuinely interested in these type of cases. The rest of these people are I'm a detective. I'm an investigator. No, you're not. You're just a fucking busybody lame on the internet. That's all you are, is a nosy motherfucker. Some of us kind of cheer for the villains, the heels sometimes. When I watch Freddy Krueger or Jason Voorhees, I cheer them on. In case you can't tell by my Idaho 4 videos, I kind of cheer on Kohlberger. Listen, I want him, if he's guilty, I want him to die. Death penalty, all that. But I'm kind of hoping they got the wrong guy. It makes for a more interesting story, does it not? Sometimes you have to admit your darkness. And this story made me confront that. Because this chick is the hottest chick I've seen in a long fucking time. And it's not even about her appearance. Appearance-wise, I think she's ugly as fuck. But I can see it in her. And that's a sexy thing. So, no, I wanted to post this here because many of you true crime women are just as hot, just as sexy. And whether you want to admit it or not, that darkness is there. And sometimes it's good to confront that and accept that and acknowledge that. As soon as I saw that this woman was into BDSM, I said, oh yeah. I understand sometimes how that shit can go wrong. Because just like anything else, you become a product of your environment. And if even in your most relaxing sexual moments, you're engaging in violence, you normalize violence, if that makes sense. I've often said that it's really hard to go back to vanilla. And I have went back to vanilla. Sometimes. Because once you've done it, and once you've felt the rush, and once you've accepted that lifestyle, like I could never be with a mouthy chick. I could never be with a chick that's not submissive. Does that make sense? Because I've crossed I've crossed the Rubicon. I've crossed the threshold. Many of you haven't. Maybe you should never. You know what I mean? But for those of you that are with me and have also crossed, you're on my mind right now. I love you. Anyways, I'm thejbgunner. This is Cryme Time. I just wanted to share this story and a little bit of chilled out commentary on it. I wasn't going to give you a second video here today, but I was going to put this on the thejbgunner TV channel, but because I feel like this has a little bit of deranged, true crime-ish type commentary, I think it is best fit for over here. Let me know in the comment section what you think. And look, there's going to be some of you guys that kink shame and like, oh my God, I can't believe you engage in shit like that. Yeah, and I can't believe you're so goddamn boring. With your thumb in your butt. Oh, no. Shut up. Shut up. Been fucking your husband for the same way for 30 years. Wondering why he's watching porn. Guys, if you like what I do here and you find my content valuable, feel free to hit the links down below. Show some love to the channel. You guys are what keeps this thing going. Let me know in the comment section your true thoughts on this. Men, true question. Didn't you find it a little hot? And maybe I'm just the only weirdo. Maybe it just got me. And so I was like, maybe there's a sickness there. I don't know. I love you guys. I'm thejbgunner. This is Cryme Time. This is your final video of the day, for sure. I'll see you guys later. Peace out.